Welcome to the News Hour. After facing off earlier this week on a Philadelphia debate stage and standing together in New York for the September 11th anniversary, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are on opposite ends of the country today.
Harris is focusing her energy on speaking to Pennsylvania voters tonight, while Trump spoke to reporters at his golf club on the California coast. There, the former president escalated his attacks on Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. Laura Barone-Lopez has this report.
It was the single biggest.
Outside of Los Angeles today, former President Trump railed against California Governor Gavin Newsom, claimed President Joe Biden hates Kamala Harris, and attacked ABC for fact-checking him at the debate.
I was right about the crime stats going way up. The fact is the FBI didn't report them because the new numbers were just released, and you'll see the kind of numbers that we're talking about went not only up, but up at record levels like nobody's seen before.
And Trump continued to target the Haitian immigrant community in Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, Ohio, 20,000 illegal Haitian migrants have descended upon a town of 58,000 people, destroying their way of life.
The Republican nominee for president has repeatedly attacked Haitians this week, lying about them eating pets.
Recording of 911 calls even show residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese. They take in the geese. You know where the geese are? In the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets. My dog's been taken. My dog's been stolen. This can only happen. These people are the worst. I'm telling you.
Yesterday, a bomb threat prompted the Springfield City Hall to evacuate. And today, 2 elementary schools and a middle school face the same threats, prompting evacuations and closures. City officials have consistently denied any credible reports of pets being harmed by immigrants. Most of the Haitian migrants in Springfield are there legally, and many are there under temporary protected status. Still, Trump and his running mate, JDVance, doubled down Friday, with Vance suggesting that the Haitian immigrants were bringing diseases to Springfield. On the South Lawn of the White House today, President Biden condemned the attacks on the Haitians in Springfield.
Simply wrong. There's no place in America. This has to stop.
Though much of Trump's speech in Tucson, Arizona last night repeated baseless claims about migrants, he also made a new promise to working-class voters.
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that.
At a campaign rally in Michigan on Thursday, Governor TimWalz dismissed Trump's baseless claims about the Haitian immigrants.
He said a lot of weird stuff, too, so I'm just going to say that. And that was, you tell me you had this on your bingo card, and they're eating cats, and in
North Carolina last night, Vice President Harris took aim at Trump's debate performance, highlighting his promise to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
And as he said in the debate, he made clear he has no plan to replace it. In fact, you remember? Concept. You remember? He has, quote, concepts of a plan.
Harris left D.C. today for Pennsylvania, making a stop at a small business in Johnstown before heading to a rally in Wilkes-Barre tonight.
Got to earn every vote. And that means spending time with folks in the communities where they live. And so that's why I'm here. We're going to be spending a lot more time in Pennsylvania.
And Laura is here with us in studio alongside Lisa Desjardins. So Laura, when the vice president says we have to earn every vote, what does that look like for the Harris campaign in this post-debate phase?
Well, the Harris campaign says that they are in a, quote, more aggressive phase of the campaign since the debate. They've launched 3 new ads since the debate, all highlighting exchanges in that debate, including ones on abortion, as well as Harris saying that she wants to represent all Americans. They're also doing more targeted interviews, Jeff. Harris did one today with a local Pennsylvania anchor. She's going to be joining a live stream next week with Oprah Winfrey that is going to be with a lot of local grassroots groups, including ones that are targeting Black voters, Latino voters, rural voters, you name it, across the board. And so her campaign is trying to make her available much more in the battleground states. She's also expected to potentially sit down with the National Association of Black Journalists as early as next week, because right now, even though she is still trying to reach undecided voters, that small sliver, Jeff, she very much is trying to close that enthusiasm gap that President Biden had with the key elements of her base.
I want to ask you about this far-right activist, this woman, Laura Loomer, who's been traveling with Donald Trump. Who is she, and why does she have Donald Trump's ear?
So Laura Loomer is well known to us at the NewsHour as well as to politicians and reporters across the board, but she's not as well known to most Americans, Jeff. She is a far-right activist who ran unsuccessfully for Congress. She's an online conspiracy theorist who has described herself as, quote, a proud Islamophobe and, quote, pro-white nationalism. She recently also spread lies about Haitian immigrants eating pets in Ohio, and she also recently made racist comments about Kamala Harris on social media site X. She said, if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, and White House speeches will be facilitated with a call center, and the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call, and nobody will understand. That's received a lot of backlash from Republicans as well as Democrats. And why does it matter, Jeff? Because she traveled with the president to the debate as well as on September 11th. And she is also a known 9/11 truther, has spread conspiracy theories about 9/11. Former President Trump was asked about Laura Loomer today, and he did not disavow her, did not condemn her comments, specifically when asked about her 9/11 conspiracy theories. He instead said that she is a supporter of his, who is a free spirit and a strong person.
A free spirit. Okay. So, Lisa, how are Republicans responding to all of this?
Even Trump Republicans, as Laura mentioned, are responding quickly. They think they see the danger here politically for this association. And that includes some Trump Republicans who themselves have had extreme speech. When I look at this posting on social media from Marjorie Taylor Greene, here's what she wrote about Laura Loomer. This does not represent President Trump. This type of behavior should not be tolerated ever. But it's not just that side of the Trump spectrum. Also, Tom Tillis, somewhat more moderate Trump supporter from North Carolina, wrote, Laura Loomer is a crazy conspiracy theorist who regularly utters disgusting garbage. But the fact remains that Trump has not disassociated himself from her as much as some of his supporters will. And I want to talk about voters who support Trump. We've been to so many Trump events, and while most Trump supporters, I would say I talk about his characteristics, a significant group at every single rally I attend raise conspiracy theories with me. The woman who thought Joe Biden was dead. Another woman in New Hampshire who told me she was sure that Mother Teresa was a man, and by the way, the father of Anthony Fauci. These would be laughable things, except these are very widespread. I talked to someone who studies conspiracy theory today about when these kinds of things can take hold.
Generally speaking, conspiracy theories are more likely to form for big, frightening, dangerous events than smaller events. So if there's an event that you view as very threatening, say you think that the other political candidate is going to destroy your way of life, if they win, you're more likely to believe conspiracy theories about that.
And JP and I talked about, and she raised the fact that Trump has literally said that if he's not elected, U.S. democracy itself will end. And he himself has put conspiracy theories out there. So this does not happen in a vacuum.
We also heard in Laura's report Donald Trump rail against FBI crime statistics. I know you've been doing some reporting on this. What have you found?
We're going to get in this more deeply ahead, but this is a good chance to set the table on this. Now, Trump is pointing to FBI statistics and saying they're not the best ones. So let me look at the two different kinds of statistics he's talking about. First, the FBI uses what's called uniform crime reports. That's data from local law enforcement around the country. That comes from almost 95% of crime statistics. Now, he says people should pay attention to something called the National Crime Victimization Survey. That is a survey of 170,000 people getting their opinions, sometimes reported, sometimes unreported crime. It's important for trend lines. But when you talk to experts, they say the decrease in crime you see in FBI stats is held up by other data. CDC data, independent data. And when Trump says that the other survey data shows more crime, he's not saying that it's relative to 2020. That same data he's talking about also shows a decrease in the last year. So there's more to it than what he says.
More to come indeed. Lisa Desjardins, Laura Barone Lopez, thank you both.